know, that they gave up, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was the amazing thing, is just hearing all these stories from the different points of views. And well, what was really amazing, since I didn't get the stories till 33 years after it happened, is that factually everything fit. Everybody remembered it the same way. They took entirely different meanings from it.
Consider a 30-minute shootout, and you know, Bob. I mean, 5 minutes feels like an hour when the bullets going by. 30 minutes just is.
There was a wee bit of a surrealistic piece of that Malik mentioned. There was a lady that came by before the shooting started.
Yes.
And left a prayer cloth and gave it to them.
Right.
And I don't know if that had anything to do with surviving it, but you know, maybe between they had shots for the police, the prayer cloth, and you know, the way in which they secured the compound, like how they should all meant that nobody got.
But everybody agreed that it was a miracle that a bloodbath didn't occur. Everybody agreed on that. Malik's
Because
mom
even back
was
then
watching
they
it
had
on
pretty heavy-duty
television.
artillery. I mean, I don't know if they had armor, you know, metal-piercing bullets, but rounds, but they were firing heavy artillery into that house.
Larry was in my class at St. Arnold.
He was.
And, this is a true story about Larry. Well, you know about we used to get corporal punishment at St. Arnold. You know Sam Felton?
Yeah.
So Sam left his book. Sam forgot his book, but you would get beat at St. Arnold if you forgot a book. So Sam said somebody stole it. So Larry went and dusted Sam's library for fun. So I mean, Larry, this was we were like sophomores or juniors. I mean, Larry was always into the whole thing. The other thing Larry did for us, there was a Nazi teacher at Sooner when I was there, and Dr. William Knapp. He was head of the psychology department, but he's a Nazi. But the head of the intelligence division was O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan was Jewish, despite his name. But but they told us about Knapp, Larry, because they didn't like Knapp either. Well, you know, obviously O'Sullivan didn't like him because of the Nazi thing.
Wade, I want to thank you for putting this together, and Orissa and Bob has always been one of my heroes. He doesn't even know me, and Keith. And it's amazing that you were talking about the military aspect of it, and you know, contrast that with Dr. King's approach to it. Because just this week I left the Civil Rights Museum up in Memphis, and Friday I'm going to be in Montgomery because the AFL-CIO and some unions and some progressive people are going to they're actually right now doing recreating the Selma to Montgomery March because of the voting rights. You know, people trying to, here it is in 2012 and people are still trying to suppress the vote, and I'm in here in the presence of a man who had worked diligently over the years, way back, to get, you know, poor people the right to exercise, to get the ability to vote. And I take that very seriously. I always make the comment that America is not the best country in the world, but it beats what comes in second place. And I think it's been borne fruit by, you know, the Constitution when it was written, the only people that really could vote were white males who had property. And, you know, now we have I call him the hybrid president, but I'm just being facetious. But this country is not the best in the world. We still have a long way to go, but I tell you what, it beats what comes in second place. But it's amazing that you were there in '69 because I know Kalamu was involved in that.
Yeah, Kalama and I were in the same
Right,
pathway.
and Louis Westerfelder ended up being the first black law school dean at Loyola. He was on the other side of the issue, and he also was, at the time that he died, he was scheduled to be the first black law school dean at Ole Miss. And it's kind of funny, all these things are kind of like dovetailing here for me. I'm a retired letter carrier, and they do let the letter carriers go out and sometimes the unions stopped that where they were going out and being the snitches and the other coaches. And then Melvin Howard is my grandmother's godson, and he's just a straight out little bitch. So I'm telling like
Another synagogue, another one of mine.
Let's just make sure we get it all on film.
No, because we probably have somebody.
YouTube.
We probably have somebody in here taping. I don't care, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we put it right on the website, Stan.
Right on the
It's up there, baby.
As Malcolm said, you know, if you, don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, because it's better than that than living on your knees. And so the Selma and Montgomery March is taking place right now. And there's another thing that's funny you mentioned about Clarence and Joe Jerusalem, because at the turn of the century, the Italians were the one that were being suppressed, and they had the whole thing about who killed the chief, who killed the chief, yeah. And but it's good to have all these young people in here, because America is America, and if we don't work to diligently work at trying to improve it, it's all good.
I want to help. I have to leave another meeting, but before I go, I just wanted to say a couple quick things. Wade Rasky is to be congratulated for putting this. This is I have sort of a deja vu moment, because back in the day we used to have these kind of meetings where blacks and whites would get together to try and sort it out, figure it out, see how we could collaborate on getting a lot of things done. The struggle is not ended. In fact, in many ways, the struggle is only beginning. And I think that going back to Risha's question of, what are the takeaways? There's really more than I don't want to call it dialogue, because dialogue has a tendency to push you toward non-action. But there needs to be more of this cross-cultural, if you will, visitation, where we sort out and figure out. And race is the 800-pound gorilla in this town and in this country. And when you see the like of the Rush Limbaughs, and racism has not only become accepted, but it's in vogue, to say and do all this crazy stuff, and to spew all this venom and viciousness using the airways, we know that we still have a lot to do. And the way that we used to say it back in the day is more that unites us than what divides us. So, Wade, thanks for putting this together, and I put this morning. One other quick before I walk out, that I guess even in these kind of situations there can be a moment of humor. Supposedly, at the height of the confrontation, the police with that war wagon up there, they forgot to secure the turkey on it. So supposedly a panther climbed up on top and dropped a Molotov cocktail, but he forgot to light it. So it's kind of I don't know if that happened, but it's kind of a weird comedy of errors.
It ought to be true.
Yeah.
It ought to be true.
But those of you who are new to all of this, either to New Orleans or new to this type of a gathering, this is all good, and we need more of it. And thanks for doing it, mate.
Well, and